Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Hi everyone, Chris Jayawardena here, and welcome to Night After Night, the podcast about 8 seasons in a row. With Laverne and Shirley's 45th anniversary this month in January of 2021, we thought it'd be nice to do a little countdown and talk about the episodes we liked most from the first season. Lisa will be doing her picks in another video, but for now, here's my top 3 of Season 1 of Laverne and Shirley. Now, before jumping into it, I wanted to give a couple of honorable mentions, as initially this started as a bit of a top 5, but we wanted to narrow this down a bit. The first honorable mention is How Do You Say Are You Dead in German? It's a madcap little episode of cartoonish gags and a lot of loud shouting. It sometimes feels incomplete and apparently was a bit of a mess in the actual shoot with rewrites and actor changes and things like that. And it somehow translated into a goofy, fast-paced bubble episode. It features 2 of my favorite one-off characters in Eric and Hildy, who I really wish had returned in other episodes, and I still like it, and I still recommend it, if only for the whole subplot of Squeaky getting taken to the asylum for being too enthusiastic when flagging down an ambulance. Now, the second honorable mention goes to A Nun Story, a surprisingly sweet and realistic episode that deals with the girls finding out that, well, their most rambunctious and wild high school friend has now become a nun. With some cute moments and rather mature writing for this kind of sitcom and this first season, it was a bit of a surprise to me how much I ended up enjoying it. Honestly, I kind of love this episode a lot. Just, not as much as what comes next.
In all the time I've known you, I never heard your mother criticize you.
That's just it. No one's ever heard her. Not you, not your father, nobody but me.
At number 3 is Mother Knows Worst. This one actually took me by surprise in 2 ways. The first is finding out that Shirley's mom is played by Pat Carroll, known to 90s kids like me as Ursula from Disney's The Little Mermaid. She was also known for being on the Red Skelton Hour and the Danny Thomas Show before becoming a voice actor through much of the 80s and 90s.
Don't force it. Pull it.
What really makes this one hit so high for me is that Lily is an amazing character. She's a snarky woman constantly criticizing with a smile. The fact that she wants to be called Barb is like one of the most fitting things I can imagine. And Pat Carroll falls right in step with the rest of the cast so well, I am genuinely shocked that they didn't try to bring her back for another episode.
Oh, please, call me Barb.
Okay, call me Vinny. Why am I Vinny?
You're getting married.
No.
You're getting a better job?
No!
You're moving to a better place?
No! Mother, there's a great big Broadway hit in town, My Fair Lady.
And you're in it!
I'm not in it!
The second is that the episode itself has a surprising and rather real quality to Shirley's relationship with her mother. Listen, while people get a lot of laughs at Shirley's expense, I usually find myself sympathizing with the poor girl. Her mom's the insidious kind of awful to her that's almost invisible, and yet it always is wrecking her happiness. And honestly, for me, the moment when it hits hardest at the end is an absolute emotional showstopper.
I know you love me, Mama. The trouble is, you don't like me.
Immediately after completing season 1, I already felt this was one of the better episodes, but it's been with seeing more of the show that I can really see how Shirley's trajectory is kind of telegraphed through this one.
Don't force it. Pull it.
As tragic as I generally find this episode, in Buddy Can You Spare a Father, we meet the even more frustrating Jack, and I kind of have to ask who's worse. Seriously, can we all just give Shirley Feeney a big hug, please? God, her parents are terrible. Understandably, one would have to wonder why it is that I say I like this episode when I hate on the relationship Barb has with her daughter Shirley so much. But what I appreciate about Laverne and Shirley is it was bold enough to do deeper stories or have brains to it. I personally hate sitcoms most of the time, and when I see something where it's intellectually stimulating, it makes me point at a thing and go, hey, I like that.
Well, we thought we'd like to have some dinner and then maybe take in a flick. How about The Wild One?
Violence makes Buck a little queasy.
Alright, this next episode on the list has got a little bit of everything. You have the gals going on a date with 2 seemingly nice but kinda eccentric fellas. You have Frank kicking everybody out of the pizza bowl, a cowboy doing poetry, Fred Willard, Shirley's high ideals, and pinky rings. And then an exploding bathroom, a bank robbery plot, hostage situation, and Laverne and Shirley discussing whether to go through eternity linked with Lenny and Squiggy. One thing Laverne and Shirley does as a show is just throw a ton of ideas into its seminal year. From sleazy bachelor parties, gun-toting thugs, off-screen sexual assault, and cross-dressing thieves, the writers and producers basically go all out. They compete the way a good exploitation filmmaker does. Give them something they're not supposed to like seeing on TV, but they always come running for. With Fred Willard as another of Laverne's long list of bad boy dates, he's the right kind of charmy smarm, and even gets a little creepy with how rough he is with Lenny and Squig. He's maybe a little too deadpan to play bad guy gangster, but he's got the presence of an actor in this one, and was honestly one of my favorite guest spots in this whole season. And seeing Laverne's gumption and getting the gun away from Charles, yet still kissing him because he paid for dinner, it's a wonderfully character-defining moment. And then Shirley falling all over Buck when she realizes he might be an educated, sensitive gentleman, while maintaining her agency about how far she goes on the first date. Nice. Good for you, Cheryl.
Besides, if it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be Carmine Ragusa. He's waited so patiently.
And okay, I have to admit, being a film noir crime story fan, that this definitely is part of the reason that I have a bias towards this episode. But, that being said, I also love that it's a great screwball comedy episode and does something different. There are sort of distinctive episodes in every season of Laverne and Shirley, and this is one that really stood out for me for the first year.
I'll tell you what the trouble is. His mother is driving him crazy. She's a regular Godzilla. Hey!
Now, anyone out there who follows our channel, be it on YouTube or Twitter or podcast itself or what have you, that you guys all know that this was coming. The first of 2 episodes Michael McKean and David L. Lander are credited for, Hi Neighbor is another combination of comedy and emotion, but this time a mix of warmth and laughter.
Hi, neighbor!
Hi, neighbor.
On some TV shows, the plot of Lenny and Squiggy moving into the same building as Laverne and Shirley would result in a disaster and just a one-off gag episode. Instead, its story ends up having a real effect on the show's characters and establishes that the show not only has continuity between episodes, such as Karen's bowling ball and the Lone Wolf Jacket, but that it works best when it does, all while being one of the funniest episodes. What really sets the stage for Hi Neighbor is how it treats the characters as characters, something that I always prefer. And it does so in the sitcom form by using their personalities to feed the dialogue or situations more naturally. Instead of feeling like the cast is getting shoehorned into a particular series of jokes, they just let them be funny.
You're gonna have to break down the door if you want to get in here.
You forgot to lock it.
This episode works great as a standalone for me. I mean, heck, it'd be a good first act for a movie. And furthermore, I personally say you take Hi Neighbor, its follow-up Hi Neighbor Book 2, Look Before You Leap, and Lenny's Crush, albeit probably with a changed ending, and you got yourself the decent outline for a romantic comedy. And maybe toss in Debutante Ball in the middle, but that's just me. Altogether, the first season of Laverne and Shirley does a lot of soul-searching. It's trying to find itself. But even with the things it leaves behind as the show goes on, I feel on the whole it lands pretty good. It's one of the strongest first years I've seen for a sitcom like this, and I'm pretty thankful for the moment that one day I was just minding my own business and my friend Lisa came my way just to ask,
Would you like to go to the circus with me?
Yeah, I'd love to go to the circus with you.
Great.
I can't believe it. It works.
And that wraps up our top 3 for Laverne and Shirley Season 1. And make sure to keep an eye out for Lisa's video of her own top 3 of Season 1 coming soon. What were your top 3 episodes, top 5, top 10 for Laverne and Shirley? Let us know in the comments below. And let us know if you would like to see more videos like this. This was kind of an experiment that was a little outside of our usual. And if you would like to know more, you can make sure to join us on Twitter and Facebook at Night After Night, Night After Night Pod on Facebook, or Night After Night PC on Twitter. And once more, thank you so much, and here's to hoping you're going to make your dreams come true, doing it your way. Later, everybody.